Hi, this is Keiko from Brooklyn Shoe Space. For Shoe Talks Quarantine Edition, we're inviting Jason Hovatter of Laughing Crow out from Portland, Oregon. I met him, I visited his studio, home studio, it was like maybe 6 years ago, 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago when I visited Portland. Rachel sees Snail Shoes. Rachel was out of town, but Jason was kind enough to host me, and so I just visited him. That's how I know him. And let's see. Oh, hello from my work, my future, from Eugene, Oregon. Great. And Jason is on, so I will be inviting him over. Let me see. And I think back then he was making a lot of turn shoes. Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Can you hear me? I forgot
Yeah, I
my
can hear you.
headphones today.
Can you hear me?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so how has COVID affected you in any way, like home, work, family, friends, community?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty certain that I had COVID in February.
Oh
I
my
was
God.
very sick, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for 3 days, and then it lingered for about a month after that, kind of mildly. And since I run classes on a regular basis, I had to shut down all my classes, and so, unemployed for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
My shop is in my home.
Uh, uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I'm at right now. And
Yeah.
the basement studio is kind of a mess right now, but out here it's starting to come together. I've done 3 private classes out here in the last 2 months,
Uh-huh.
and made some
Uh-huh.
shoes and things like that. So I'm kind of starting to get the flow of working out here all the time.
Yeah.
It's nice. Move my space,
Yeah.
kind of reinvent it a little bit, and
Uh-huh.
it's going well. Yeah.
That's great. Last
Yeah.
time I visited was, I think 6 years ago, maybe 5, 6 years
It was a while
ago.
back.
Yeah. And it was in your garage and your one floor of your home, I think it was.
Yeah, the basement and the
Yeah.
garage. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it
Yeah,
still in the same?
we used to do all the like noisy, stinky stuff out here, the hammering and grinding and gluing and stuff like that. And then all the patterning and cutting and skiving and stitching downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all out here now, and it's a little, I still got 4 or 5 machines downstairs and a big table and all my leather or most of my leather.
Uh-huh.
So I've just kind of pared it down to the bare essentials
Uh-huh.
out here in the garage, and it's nice. It's kind of nice to have limited things going on.
Separate.
So,
Yeah. Oh, very cool. Yeah, for people who don't know, can you introduce like how did you get into footwear, like shoemaking and leatherworking?
okay,
And
that's kind of a crazy story.
yeah, and did you always love shoes? Is that how you started?
No, I in my early 20s, I was traveling the country,
Mm-hmm.
like a punk rock traveling kid, like with a backpack and everything I owned in my backpack
Mm-hmm.
for many years. And the people that I ended up, traveling with, at least repaired all their own stuff, because when all you have is what you're wearing and what's in your pack, what you can carry,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you have to make do. And so you fix things, you repair things. So I started
Yep.
by repairing my clothes and,
Mm-hmm.
mostly patches and things like that. And at the same time, I was getting excited about primitive skills, like high tanning. I grew up hunting and fishing and gardening and all that, and
Yeah.
but I was learning how to tan hides and use all of the animal and
Can.
build shelters and that kind of stuff. And so it kind of became.
Wow.
I started making things out of the materials I was producing. Like tanning skins and making pants and making a shirt and things like that, and then a
Wow.
backpack, and then it kind of became a fetish to make
Uh-huh.
everything,
Yeah.
and I made my.
Sorry. Hold on. Uh-huh. Sorry. Sorry, I'm losing you for a second. Hold on. Can you hear me? Hold on. Sorry. It might be me, but I couldn't hear you for a second. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Am I back?
Wait, hold
Can you
on.
hear me?
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Yes, hold on a second. I'm gonna hold on. I think it's okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it might be me. It might be my
Can you hear
connection
me?
here.
Am I still?
Yeah, I can see and hear you.
Oh, sorry. Okay, good, good. You were talking about you tanned your hides from the hunts that you did?
Yeah, it was an elk hide. I made some
Elk hide.
boots. I made some boots, and about 3 days later, they had holes in the soles. And rather than be discouraged, there was a lot more success there than failure. And so I was determined to like figure out how to make the soles last longer. And so
Yeah.
for a couple of years, I experimented and asked advice. And there were no books, and I didn't have any
Yeah.
money, so I couldn't afford a teacher, even if I knew where one was.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, I made a pair of shoes that lasted for 2 years with no major repairs, and so that was a
Uh-huh.
big success for me.
Yeah.
And then when I moved to Southern Oregon when my oldest daughter was born,
Uh-huh.
and I met Bill Shanor there.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Bill Shanor, and he was fascinated by me, completely untrained, and he encouraged me to come hang out, and I hung out with him on and off for 3 years, for like two or
Wow.
3 days a week, and
That's
learned a
great.
lot. Yeah, we started a little business together, going to Renaissance fairs and things like that, making like the
Oh.
side lace moccasin kinds of things.
Uh-huh.
And he pretty quickly bowed out of that. He's an old grumpy guy who like was hanging out in his shop all the time, huffing glue fumes, and he didn't want to get dressed up and and travel a lot and go to fairs. So I ended up doing that for 6 years, and
Uh-huh.
settled here in Oregon 16 years ago, or in Portland
Uh-huh.
16 years ago, and
Uh-huh.
started teaching. Actually, I started teaching primitive skills
Uh-huh.
first at a school here, and that
Uh-huh.
kind of gave me the confidence to offer shoes.
Uh-huh. But
And now for 10,
there's a
10 or
school that teaches primitive skills, you said?
Yeah, there are many of them across the country, and there was one here in Portland, and I ran their adult programs for a while,
Uh-huh.
uh, and then started doing shoes and
Uh-huh.
that kind of just caught on. Like I realized there was a market for that, and people were really excited to learn what I knew, and so now that's what I do full time, or have been doing until COVID. So we'll see how
Right.
that can continue. Yeah.
Yeah. So how long in the time span? That's been like, is it 16 years? Is it 20 years that you've been making shoes?
Oh yeah. Probably 23 or 4 years or 25, something like that. More than 20, but
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, that's so great. And the
Yeah.
first pairs that you made, do you still have them?
Oh gosh, no, no.
No. And what type of shoes were they? I remember you used to do a lot of turn shoes and
Yeah.
like yeah, can you
The
talk
first,
about different types of construction that you make?
yeah, the first pair I made were just like a native moccasin type thing. The only book I could find at the time was like put up by the Boy Scouts, and I think it was moccasins of the Native Americans, and
Yeah. 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 Mm, mm, mm-hmm. Right. Right. Yeah. Some people are saying they can't hear, but I think I can hear. Hold on. Yeah.
For a second. There we go. Can you hear me?
There we go. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes, I can hear
You
you.
don't remember? Yeah. So I teach a wide range of things. I teach my own weird constructions. I traveled for 6 years, going to medieval reenactments and things like that, making period shoes and the side lace, like
Mm-hmm.
Renaissance fair moccasins for people. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I teach that. I've developed a few things on my own, just with the limited tools that I have, kind of using historical construction methods,
Mm-hmm.
but kind of tweaking them for the limited toolkits that I have, and what's
Mm-hmm.
easy to easy for other people to replicate at home too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, kind of my feeling is, if it's this thing where it's going to cost you $10,000 when you go home to get lasts and machines and finishers and all this stuff, it's not, it's kind of this esoteric, like very niche thing. And if
Right.
they can make it more accessible, then more people are
Right.
likely to do it and get excited, and they'll
Yeah.
take it and do whatever they want to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's it. I can show you some things in a little bit too, like the different constructions. We can get up.
Yes. Yes, please. Do you think you can give us a little bit of a tour of your space?
Oh yeah. I'll show you around. Maybe I'll come and I'll flip the if I can flip the phone around.
Yeah, you can tap the screen and it flips around. Yeah.
There we go. So we're in the garage. I'm in the driveway, standing in the driveway.
Uh-huh. Nice.
This is kind of comprehensively the
Very
garage.
organized.
I've got all of the woodworking stuff here.
Uh-huh. What do you
Right.
use for woodworking? Like your lasts? I saw some cool
Yeah.
stripy lasts. Is
Oh
that
yeah, yeah. I'll
something
show
you
you those.
developed?
Just different. It was just different woods, just random wood that I had sitting around.
All right.
But I know one of your questions that you sent me were, what's your favorite tool? You know, your favorite machine
Yeah.
currently, and it's this piece, this nice big bandsaw.
Yeah.
I've had kind of crappy bandsaws over time, and I finally got a nice bandsaw.
Nice.
During COVID, I got an SBA loan.
Uh-huh.
When this all started, I applied for everything I could and
Yeah.
got a loan and got some nicer tools. So
Good.
I have this big bandsaw.
Yeah.
I've got a planer
Planer.
here that you can take old wood, clean it up, and turn it into new wood.
Yeah.
I like the stripy last you were talking about.
Yeah.
I have a cabinet maker that lives a few blocks away, and he's always
Uh-huh.
getting rid of old projects and or scrap pieces of hardwood. So I pillage his free pile essentially,
That's
and then I bring it
great.
back here and I run it through the planer and clean it up, and then it's brand new again.
Uh-huh.
That's what the stripy ones were. There's some exotic
Wood.
African or Asian wood, I don't know which, and
Wow.
other things.
Cool.
So I've got all the woodworking tools, the planer, bandsaw,
Yeah.
little dust collection system here
Yeah.
because it makes a big mess.
Yeah.
Chop saw, drill
Mhm.
press,
Mm-hmm.
and then different grinders and sanders, kind of working from woodworking into shoemaking stuff. You know,
Uh-huh.
as we go.
Yeah.
We'll keep walking up. I have a few kind of portable tabletop sanders for students
Yeah.
to use. We can move them around the shop.
Yeah.
Got super coarse paper on them.
Yeah.
I used to have a big Landis finisher in here, but
Yeah. Ooh, you're cutting off. Yeah. It takes up space. It takes up
Yeah.
space, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So we've
it's
got
cutting up a little
jack
bit, but
stands and
I think
lasting
we're
stands
catching up.
here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, it's really difficult. I think I'm losing you. Is it me? Ah, the screen is frozen at the jack stand. Yeah.
Are we back?
Oh, oh, yeah, we're back. Yes, sorry.
Okay, good.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the glues. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
I got all the
just
glues
kind
and
of
things
like
like that.
stopped. Yeah,
We've got
yeah.
some more woodworking stuff, more like axes and,
Uh-huh.
adzes and things like that.
Wow.
Storage tables, knives, hammers,
Uh-huh.
hardware, all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
yeah,
I've got a few sewing machines in here.
yeah.
I've got a post and a walking foot,
Mm-hmm.
flatbed,
Yeah.
and then I've got an auto solar.
Wow.
Um,
Do you
a
use
big
it with your
curved needle
students?
machine. Not with students so far. I'm kind of developing some off the rack styles of shoes too.
Yeah,
Nothing that's like available yet, but I'm still kind of developing.
yeah.
And I picked up the nailer for $100
Oh,
a few
great.
months ago, so I
Yeah.
just grabbed it. I got a curved needle and then a McKay in the
Yeah.
back
Wow.
there, and then a bunch of
Curved.
last.
Yeah, yeah. Curved outsole stitcher.
Yep.
Do you use that with the students?
Not yet,
Or
but
it's
I am.
most not.
Yeah, I'm using it in my. So the shoes I'm developing are. I'll flip this back around for a second.
Yeah.
The off the rack shoes I'm developing are lasted line stitch down boots, and so I'm using the curved needle for that.
Nice.
Yep.
Very cool. And then you had lasts on the shelves. Nice.
Yeah. So the lasts are they're not lasts that I make shoes on. Since primarily what I've been teaching for years is non-lasted styles. We use those more as something to put inside the shoe so that we can hammer around and shape. So they're kind of just generically, they're not a style that I make shoes on, but I do have some last that I am making shoes on now too. Last shapes that I've developed here at home, and then gotten the style right, and then sent them to Mexico and had them produced in sizes. And so now I've got 3 different runs of last that I produced
That's very great.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, your style is very distinct. You can tell like it's yours, I feel like.
Yeah, I guess so.
With a like wider, boxier toe and I've
kind of become known for making foot-shaped shoes, right? Like more the wider toe box thing. And I never set out to do that. But since I've been using the duct tape foot casting method to make shoes and then teach, we end up making foot-shaped shoes. And then I've kind of discovered the benefits of shoes that fit your feet a little bit better, that don't crush your toes, or the no heel and things like that. And then I've also drawn people from the like barefoot running community and people that are into that whole scene, and I'm just rolling with it because
barefoot and like zero drop.
Yep. But I'm not a zealot. I'm not like it has to be zero drop or it has to be. But that's what people want to pay me to do, and so I'm happy to do it, right? So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, do you think Bill would be your mentor, like one of your mentors?
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
I still call him sometimes and have stupid ideas, and he's like, "Oh, that's great," or "No, this won't work," or
right.
I went down 2 years ago. He's retired now, and he ran his final class, and I took his final class just to punctuate,
Right.
the journey.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, I saw the development, so it's great.
Yeah.
So Colorado Shoe School is asking a question, so let me just read it real quick. It says, which company made the last, if you're happy to share?
Yeah, Hormas L Arbol.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same.
I could post contact info for those guys, or you can just look it up and email
Yeah.
info from us probably, and it'll be yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a
They're
really
on the
amazing
website.
deal. I came up with the last. I like the shape. I sent them the last, and that was like $50. It was kind of expensive just to ship a last, but they 3D scan it, scale it up and down sizes. You tell them what size it is, and then they scale it from there. And then I did a range of size, American size 5 to 13. No
Mm-hmm.
half sizes, just generic sizes. And I think it was around $350 start to finish for those last. Like, that's just a great deal, you know? I assumed
Yeah.
it would be much more expensive before I looked into it. So
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've done
That's
that
good.
done that 3 times now.
Yeah. It's mostly the shipping, and that's like most expensive,
Yeah,
I feel like.
yeah, and it takes kind of a long time, and
Yeah.
but you know, I guess from start to finish, you know, 3 months from the
Mm-hmm.
time I sent the initial last to the time the last show up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that's
But
pretty
super
good.
happy with the product. Yeah, yeah.
That's great. That's great. And so you're working on creating like your off-the-shelf line
Yeah,
of shoes, you said. Where do you get inspiration from? Do you kind of...
I can't hear what. Sorry, what did you say?
Sorry.
I didn't hear what you
Where do
said.
you
Yeah.
get your inspiration? Where do you get your inspiration from? Do you draw from your experience
Oh,
and just like what you like, or is it
yeah, of course, of course.
from...
I also
Mhm.
the style that I'm developing right now are kind of. I worked on a farm from age 12 to 18, and
Mhm.
everybody on the crew, there was, you know, 5 to 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been kind of working on, like, as an homage, just kind of using some of the design elements from that boot because it's nostalgic for me,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of where that has come from. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Plus
exciting. Yeah.
everything that I work on lately, I run it by my partner too, and she's a designer, and she's like, "Oh, no, no, no," you know, and she's kind of got the final eye. So in the last couple of years, my work has really changed because her eye has been in there too, and
Yeah.
that's a big influence. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. I remember, yeah. And you also had a Kickstarter campaign, and you were
Oh
doing
yeah.
some online tutorial, like kind of like DVDs and courses. Was
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. We did
Yeah,
two
do you want to
video
talk about it?
courses.
When was that already? I feel like it's a long time ago.
It was, yeah. The first one, probably around the time that you came and visited, 5 or 6 or 7 years ago. And then the second one we did about 2.5 years ago, I think.
Mhm.
So the first one was a turn shoe, and the idea was to take the classes that I teach. I've got
Mhm.
maybe 6 different styles that I teach on a regular basis,
Yeah.
and turn them into videos,
Hmm.
DVDs, and streaming, to offer people who can't make it to
Yeah.
classes. You know, it's a lower price point,
Yeah.
and then what's ended up happening, you know, a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, no one's going to come to your classes if they can get it on video," and that's not true. People come to classes and then buy the video also because it's like great notes, you know, because
Yeah.
it's all right there.
All there. Yeah. Yeah.
And literally hundreds of people in the last 5 or 6 years have made shoes from the videos, having never met me, having come to a class, having like asked a few questions, you know, online,
Hmm.
and made shoes, and it's been great. Um, it's really a success. It's kind of like my whole mission is to make it accessible,
Right.
and it's also driven tool sales.
Yeah.
You know, so it's been great all the way around. It's probably a third of my income right now is
Oh,
the videos and toolkits and the book and all that stuff.
yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember. I don't remember what bracket. There's like different tiers, of donation.
Oh, sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I did
Yeah,
that, and then I get updates sometimes, and yeah, no, it's great. I think it's
yeah,
great what you're doing. What's
thank you.
your favorite shoes that you've worked on so far?
Oh gosh, I have no idea. I don't really have a favorite. I have a few favorites over the years. of shoes I've made for myself.
Yeah,
And
sure.
more. Yeah, probably my favorite pair of shoes of all time was a pair of turn shoes that I made. I've made myself 3 pairs over the 20 years or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And the first pair I wore every day for 6 years, and I ran
Wow.
them into the ground. I wore holes in them and didn't take care of them because I was so busy.
Yeah.
My second pair I took better care of, and I
Uh-huh.
wore those for 5 or 6 years too on an
Uh-huh.
everyday basis. Just by far the most comfortable pair of shoes I've ever worn.
Uh-huh.
And maybe 5 years ago or so, I had the bathroom remodeled.
Uh-huh.
And you hear about shoes and hidden in walls and things like that, and in
Yeah.
foundations of houses, historical
Yeah.
ones, and so I made a little time capsule with my favorite pair of shoes and put it in the bathroom wall. So
Okay. So
who
one
knows?
day, who
Yeah,
knows, centuries
1,000 years from now,
later,
somebody will find those. Yeah.
yeah, somebody who's gonna remodel maybe one day might find it. Oh, that's
or
cool.
or some archaeologist, who knows? Or not. It may just get lost to history. Who knows?
And do you always wear your shoes?
Yeah, I don't own shoes that I didn't make. Yeah,
That
it's
is
been
awesome.
more than 20 years since I had a pair of shoes I didn't make myself. Yeah.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah, do you think you can show us your, oh, and I love how you had like on Instagram all this construction that you teach and you had cut open. Do you have
Yeah.
them with you?
Yeah, I have them up here on the shelf. I can get them.
Yeah, I would love to see.
I'll flip the phone around, and I pulled out a few of the different things I've been working on for the last couple of years here.
Yeah, I would love to see if you don't mind. Yeah.
You guys can see.
Fantastic.
Kind of like a little fan of them. There's
Okay.
some welted stuff like this thing.
Yeah, is that
I've been kind of working on this.
hand welted?
Yeah. Hand welted, yeah.
Wow.
Welted, and then a couple pairs of lasted line stitched down. Here
Yeah.
too. I went and visited Bill Crary last year, and he does primarily lasted line stitched down, and that kind of really got the fire burning in me to work more on that. So I've been doing tons of that lately.
Oh,
Here are
great.
these tall ones.
Yeah, what's
like
that one?
They're Renaissance fair moccasins.
Okay.
I actually made a pair of these for one of the Star Wars movies a couple years ago. The character Rey. If you check out the Last Jedi, the middle one, she's wearing my boots. The second half of the movie, she's wearing my boots.
Oh, wow, that's great.
And this is another lasted line stitched down. This is the boots that I'm wearing too. I've got them. These are the shoes that I wear every day.
Yeah.
A pair of those lasted line, and then a pair of the turn shoes also. I did this project for a couple years with this guy Tyler Benner. He's like an Olympic level archer, world champion archer type guy.
Archer.
Yeah, a bow and arrow, and he's also a high performance athlete. That's part of his world, and he wanted to develop cycling shoes that are shaped like the feet, right? And so you can see the bottom. It's laminated bamboo outsole.
Oh, laminated. You said laminated bamboo?
Yeah, it's multi-layers of bamboo.
Is that
really strong.
Is that to keep it more straight than?
It has to be rigid, yeah.
Right.
Like a cycling shoe has to be rigid, so you don't lose power when you're transferring from pedals.
Right.
And then we developed the last. Like you can see, the toe shape is pretty wide.
Yeah.
So that was the first, not the first last I made, but the first last that we actually sent to Mexico and had produced in sizes. We got the shape we wanted and sent it, and then we made about 20 pairs, and then sent them off to different people in the industry to ride them. We got great feedback, and now he's having Clover and Cobbler down in LA make new prototypes with carbon fiber soles and all that. So that's a project that's still underway and ongoing, and might turn into something someday. We'll see. Very
cool. Yeah. And yeah, there's fans out there, really. Like we had a student who tried to make like barefoot kind of wide toe cycle shoes.
Yeah. So I don't know if people are passionate and excited, and they can get me excited, that I'm happy to work on it with them, and maybe it'll turn into a thriving business, and I'll make some money too. Yeah, definitely. Ooh, you're pausing again. Hold on.
Hold on. Sorry. I think maybe everybody else can see, but I'm frozen. Can you hold on? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. So it's non-lasted. Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, I want to see. Oh, sorry. There's no sound. Hold on. I gotta, what's going on? I can't see. Hold on. I can't see. You're freezing.
Are
Oh,
we back?
you're back. You're back. Yes.
Okay, good. I
Sorry.
think I'm gonna try to stay
Yeah.
on this. I'm gonna try to stay on this side of the shop. It seems like connections. I lose it when I go to the other side of the shop.
Yeah. What are we seeing now?
So
This purple.
Oh yeah. So this is the Scandinavian turn shoe. I started making these for reenactments years ago. Everybody was being
Yeah.
Viking, dressing up like Vikings, and they wanted that. And this is that shoe I talked about. The ones I put in the wall, the ones that I
Yeah.
wore every day for years and years. My favorite. It's just a very simple
Yeah.
shoe like this. Like it's literally just a second skin for your feet, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very flexible, very easy
Yeah.
to put on, very comfortable.
Yeah.
And then the bottom, instead of just leather on the bottom, you can't really glue like a pre-made Vibram sole to this,
Right.
because there's so much
Right.
shape.
What did you do?
It's from when you're driving down the freeway and you see big chunks of truck tire like on the side of the road that have like blown off.
Yeah.
So those are retreads, because
Oh.
those tires wear down over time, and
Yeah.
rather than buy new tires, they take them to the repair shop and then they grind off the old tread and glue new tread on, just like resoling a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
And when they do, they make sawdust, rubber dust, essentially, right? And like mountains of it. And
Yeah.
so I go to the industrial tire repair place down the street and get buckets full of the stuff and bring it back and sift it, and then mix it with barge cement and then paint it on. And it's just this really durable finish. It's very flexible. There's tons of surface area, so the traction is amazing with it.
Yeah.
And it just lasts and lasts, and you can patch it really easily too.
Right. Wow.
Yep.
That's interesting. And consistency wise, is it like lots of the tire rubber and a little bit of glue, or?
No, it's more glue.
More glue.
It's about a third rubber dust and 2/3 barge cement. Yeah, and then it compresses when you wear it. It's kind of like fluffy, like sourdough bread with bubbles. And then you stand on it and it packs down and compresses. So you put it on quite thickly at first.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Sometimes I'm just asking just because I'm curious, like if you walk on like hot asphalt, for example, does it ever like the chunk of it come off? No?
No, nah. I mean, so what is it? 600 degrees Fahrenheit is what defeats barge cement. So you'd have to stand on some really hot stuff. It might get a little bit softer, but it's imperceptibly softer.
Wow.
No, it's indestructible.
So cool. Yeah. That's great. And you can actually mold it a little bit above too.
And then also, like, you can't really probably see it, but if you were here, you could put your hand in here, and it feels like the bottom of my foot. Like the leather compresses, and then the rubber compresses too.
Right. So it
to really
almost
like
creates like
it's like a custom orthotic type thing, right?
Yeah.
Just the most comfortable thing you've ever worn. It's amazing.
Wow.
If you like minimal thin soled shoes. Right?
Yeah. No, that's brilliant. That's not even a sheet, which is cool. Okay.
Yeah. I'll pull a few other things.
Sure.
This is just a pair of dress shoes. This is a pair I made with Bill Shanor. But I'm offering this as a class now too.
With the toe puffs, do you use leather toe puffs?
I do, yeah. That we use thermoplastic in Bill's class, but I use leather and Hirschkleber and or toe box cement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the first iteration of that. The boot I was talking about, the off the rack kind of thing.
Yeah.
this is the first iteration of it.
Uh-huh. I see. It's almost like Red Wing slash. Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah,
What else?
Wolverine. Yeah.
Yep. And then this is
Very cool.
the boot video that we did a couple years ago. This is the boot that I made in that video.
Uh-huh.
That are just like the non-lasted. I have a last in it right now because I'm just shaping it up a little bit, but it's my foot shape. It's this last that's shaped like my foot. So
Very cool.
that's that.
When you in class, you do the special, you know, with the duct tape, and then do you also make do you make the plaster version as well of your feet in class?
No, we do.
That takes. I just saw on your table some plaster.
Oh yeah, so I'll flip the phone back around so you can see. It's not actually plaster.
Oh.
This is the first last for my foot. The ones that I'm using, you know, here to design this boot on, which is the 2.0 version, is based on this. This is the first last that I made. It's a pair, and I sent when I sent it to Mexico, they painted it white and glued it together.
They sanded it, painted.
So they can 3D scan it and like get what they need. Yeah. So that's what that is.
Okay. So it wasn't a plaster. I see.
No.
Okay.
No, but yeah. Go ahead.
So in class, you use duct tape.
Yeah.
And your feet, and then you stuff it with.
You don't stuff it with anything.
Anything.
I'll grab. I haven't done a class for a little while, but I come around the other side of the table and grab a couple of things.
That's so cool.
So I can show you guys kind of what we do with the duct tape. Here's the pattern. So a pair of boots I just sent off. I just finished 3 pairs of shoes a couple days ago and sent them off. And then here are all the pieces and parts of the duct tape.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see it.
Shoe on the casting, and then cut that apart, and then lay it on paper. You know, make some amendments, reduce and add seam allowances, things like that. And then you can see the patterns here next to it. And then cut that on leather, put it together just like you do any other pair of shoes. The one real big difference between this way of doing things and a lasted style is the allowance.
Yeah.
You know, on a lasted shoe, you've got like 3/4 of an inch of allowance down here at the bottom.
Yeah.
Here your allowance has to be exact. There's no extra for stretching, right? Because it all has to line up in the end. So that's kind of the only tricky part about it, but it works really well, and they're just as durable and robust.
Yeah.
Honestly, as a lasted shoe. So
yeah.
Sometimes in class, since you know we only do it in 4 days. Here at home, there's one step that I generally do that
that maybe you skip in class. Yeah. You're freezing. Sorry. Hold on. Sorry, you're freezing on me again. I think I'm losing. Yeah. All right. Can you hear me? Oh, what happened? Cut out at the worst times. Farm shoes, handmade. Yes, I know. It's like the best spot that you were talking about. Re-invite him again. Okay. Send request. Okay, waiting for Jason. Sorry about that.
I think it's me, probably.
Um,
Are we back?
I think we just cut off right at the super sweet spot where you were talking about how there's this one step that you usually do, but you skip in class.
Yeah, we don't always skip it, but you know, they're billed as non-lasted shoe classes. Although I do kind of at the end when I'm making shoes for people or for myself, I'll put a last in at the end, get it wet, put a last in, and let it dry for a day or two.
Oh, okay.
And it's not necessary, but it just makes a little bit more pleasing shape, like what folks are used to seeing, rather than like. So that's really been one of the hard sells with foot-shaped shoes, is that's not what we're used to looking down and seeing.
Right.
And we've got a lot of identity tied up, just like in the clothes that we wear.
Yeah.
The shapes of shoes that we wear.
Yeah.
And I tell that to people right in the beginning of class. And there's a lot of things that we can do to make the shape, you know, not like your foot, but that's one of the hard parts is the foot shape thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Very cool. How long? So you said you put it in overnight, wet mold it, and just put it in overnight.
Or a day or two.
Day or two, if you have the time. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I also have a big, large capacity food dehydrator, and sometimes I'll stick them in there if there isn't something drying. Like right now, it's got some food in there drying. So. I think I learned that trick from Molly from the Cordwainer shop.
Yeah.
In New Hampshire.
Yeah.
She bakes her shoes in the oven on a really low temperature, which is essentially.
Oh my gosh. Huh, interesting. Yeah. Bakes shoes. I'm going to write it down. I'm writing notes.
Yeah,
very cool.
She's fun.
Yeah, that's fun. How long does it make for you? How does it, sorry, my brain. How long does it take for you to make the pairs that you usually make, and then how many pairs do you work at a time?
Yeah, I usually work 3 pairs at a time when I'm just making shoes for customers. It gives me more than that, and it gets to be too much. But it's kind of a perfect amount. Like glue will be drying, or some other part will be setting, and then I can go to the other pair. So I just finished 3 pairs a couple of days ago. Yeah. And depending on what style it is, like the turn shoes, I could make 2 pairs in a day. Right. Wow. I charge $400 to $500 for those. I can make $800 to $1,000 in a day. Right. If I'm really, you know, like busting it. Right. The boots take probably 3 days to make. You know. I don't think there isn't much that I do that takes more than maybe 5 days. More than, you know, like I just made I had a customer come up from LA, and I made him those stripy lasts that you were talking about earlier. Yeah. And then I made him boots on those, and that took a total of 10 days. Yeah, but making the last and 3 to 4 days with the last, and then you know, the rest with the shoes. Right. Do you keep those taped up pieces in class? Like, do the students take it home? Oh yeah. Is it like, and then your clients last, do you keep them, or does the client take it? No, I keep the last, unless they request it. You know, they paid me to make the last, and they could take the last if they want to. But no, I keep the last because I end up making more shoes for them in the future. You know, I've got a guy in Boston, a really amazing story. This old guy, and I won't tell his story, but he survived World War II, separated from his parents. His foot was injured really badly, and it's got a 3-inch discrepancy on one leg and the other. And and his shoemaker of like 50 years passed away, and so he found me through his daughter and his son-in-law. And I've made him 4 pairs of shoes now. I just made him a new pair, and his feet keep changing. Really? And especially like the COVID thing, he was stuck in his apartment for 4 months, only wearing slippers. Yeah. And his feet widened and changed. Really? And so I have those lasts I made him. I amended them and made him a new pair of shoes and just sent those off yesterday. Oh, that's very cool. And in those cases, what do you use for outsoles? Just whatever. So like for that shoes, I just used some Vibram sheet soling.
Right.
The boots, the fellow from LA.
Right.
It's all mostly Vibram stuff
Yeah.
that I get from Oregon Leather Company downtown.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great to have them so close. I can just
Yeah.
drive over there, take my pattern,
Yeah.
pick out the sole that fits just right, and I don't have
Yeah.
to order it through the mail. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Do you still use that powder glue mixture that you used for your first?
I use it for turn shoes
Yeah,
only,
for turn
and
shoes. Okay.
in class. Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yep.
so cool.
Yeah.
I would love to see like your experiments, or like maybe I should try them out too. It's really cool.
Yeah. In my turn shoe video, I can send you a copy of the turn shoe video and
Yeah.
check it out. It's got from start to finish how to do it in there.
Very cool.
Yep.
Do you have a mantra you live by?
Oh, no, not that I can. I know you sent me a list of questions and I looked them over, but I didn't prepare anything for it. I just figured we'd go with it.
No, it's okay.
Um,
I just didn't want to surprise
like,
you, that's all. But
yeah.
yeah.
As for like with shoes, I do kind of with shoes. Kind of my mantra is like I know that a lot of people have injuries and issues with their feet, but
Yeah.
otherwise, our feet are designed perfectly as they are. Like
Yeah.
we've evolved, like standing on our feet and using them, and it's kind of like that do no harm,
Yeah.
thing that's not a
Yeah.
profession.
Yeah.
My idea is just stay out of the way of the foot, let it behave like it naturally does, unless it needs something. Like
Right.
like this guy with the 3-inch discrepancy, he has special needs, and so absolutely. But otherwise, 90% of the people I see have very healthy feet, and
Yeah.
unless they really want their toes squeezed and for style purposes, or
Yeah.
a heel to make them feel taller, so they feel like they're who they are, then I'm happy to do that too. But otherwise, I just I fit the foot and protect the foot. Yeah.
Yeah. Fit the foot and protect it. Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah. I think it's yes, like podiatrists say, like if there's no footwear industry, their industry is gonna die.
Yeah.
Like kind of like the same thing,
But
Similar.
everybody's got feet, and everybody needs shoes. Like the first job of the shoe is to protect your foot from the ground, from
Yep.
hot, cold, sharp, wet stuff
Yep.
in the ground. Everything
Yep.
else is style.
Yeah, that's why I think in every culture there's some sort of like a sandal or a moccasin style in a lot of cultures. Yeah, like something like a sack.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
earliest shoes are just bags of leather around your feet,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. If you had all the resources and time available to you, what kind of shoes would you make and for who?
Oh, just what I'm doing right now. Like,
Yeah.
I
Super
love what
happy.
I'm doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm happy. Yeah, this is the life I've always wanted, and I'm living it. People,
That's great.
people will always ask me like, "How are you doing?" And I say I'm having the time of my life, and it's true. Like there are ups and downs, and there's stuff, and this Corona thing has been anxiety causing, but other than that, like things are good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I want to be doing.
And you were saying you've been working and making shoes for 20 something years. What's your favorite part about having your own business, and then what's your least favorite?
Oh, wow, that's pretty easy. So my whole business is here at my home. I used to travel for years.
Yeah.
I traveled and then came back home. I can take you guys on a little tour of the backyard a little bit too. So I do a lot of gardening.
Yeah.
And this is
Great.
this is the backyard.
Mhm.
It's all it's all food and
It's
culinary
so nice.
and medicinal.
Uh-huh.
And
Do you eat
front yard
eat
is
a
the
lot of
same.
your herbs
Yeah.
and yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, this is my favorite part.
Yeah.
Is that I'm here. My kid is in the house right now playing. I'm surprised she hasn't come out and talked to us. She's always on the table, talking to students and telling them what they're doing wrong. Like she's been, like since she was tiny, she's like, "Dad, teach me how to skive." I'm like, "Well, you got to be five to
Oh,
skive,
wow.
like sharp blades, right?" So for her
Okay.
fifth birthday, I got her a skive and I started showing her how to skive, and she's really good, like hand skiving. Yeah,
Wow, that's
and sewing
great.
machines.
So
Got her
she's
little
really
sewing machine.
learning.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
She's great
she's
with her
learning
hands. Has
also
always
by
been.
watching too. Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Oh, that's great. Because I think the first time I met you, she was just a baby. Like,
Tiny. Yeah,
I don't think she was walking yet.
yeah. Probably not.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. So do you feel like she can take over or take on, not take
Oh
over,
gosh, yeah.
sorry. Like, would she be interested in making shoes with you, you think?
Absolutely, I think so. Yeah, she always wants to do what I'm doing, and I'm not putting any like expectations on her. Like you're going to take over the family business, or you know.
Yeah,
But but she loves being in there,
that's
especially
great.
when there are people in there. She loves like bouncing off of them and talking, and
Yeah.
yeah, maybe we'll see. She's
Yeah. Has she
definitely
made a pair for herself?
no. She
Not
helps.
yet.
She helps. Yeah,
Yeah. One day.
it's
One
not.
day.
She's not there yet. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So you feel like 3 to 5 to 10 years, you want to be still doing the same thing, or would you want to
Yeah.
be doing?
I think I'd like to. Well, things are a little different potentially now with the COVID thing, right? Like I used to have, 3 weeks a month, people would be in my house in the basement, in the garage, making shoes with me, 1 to 5 people at a time. And that does, people are, I don't know how comfortable I am having that many people here. People are not as comfortable. There are
Mhm.
definitely some people who are willing to come do it. I mentioned that I got an SBA loan
Yeah.
during this. I bought a few tools. I also bought a nice camera
Hmm.
and a setup to do some live video class stuff too, and or more recorded video classes.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that, trying to get a faster internet connection into the garage. It's why we've
Hmm.
been slow today, I think.
It's okay.
Yes, and so have the video stuff, some in-person stuff, and then I still want to work on off the rack sizes of shoes too,
Yes.
that I can produce here at home and or
Yeah.
at some space locally.
Yeah.
Maybe get some jobs in the shoe
Yeah.
industry here.
Yeah.
People making shoes
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and roll with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Wonderful.
it's paying the bills. Just
Yeah.
barely right now. So maybe someday
Yeah.
it's paying the bills and there's a little extra.
Yes, definitely, definitely. But would you take apprentices, or do you think are there
Yeah.
students that come back often and
Yeah, yeah, both of those things. There are students that come back time and time again, and I have had apprentices over the years, probably
hmm
4 or 5 now.
hmm
They generally stay for about a year,
Oh, that's
and then
great.
move on to to whatever else.
Hmm.
And I'm absolutely open to more of
Yeah,
that happening, just when it can. So
when it can. Yeah, you're not
there's
in a
plenty.
rush.
Yeah, no, there's plenty here to do.
Yeah,
Um, if I get this kind of off the rack thing
yeah,
sorted, then there'll be a lot more to do. But
yeah.
we're just trying to juggle and transition and pivot from what was to what is becoming right
Right,
now, and
right.
keep working toward the future.
Yeah, yeah. But and enjoy it as along the way, I guess, you know?
Yeah, as best we
Yeah,
can. Yep.
yeah.
Try to
No,
worry. Try to worry
that's
as little as.
fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Another super, not random question, but leather weight. What leather weight do you use for turn shoe versus your kind of like lasted shoes?
Yeah. So with the non-lasted shoe, with a lasted shoe, you can have layers of leather, the liner,
Yeah,
the upper, and the
yeah,
reinforcements and things like that. That
yeah,
will end up being, 5 or 6 ounces in thickness, or maybe even more, depending.
yeah,
Ultimately, because you've got that last to wrap it around and get the stretch out of the layers. And where with the non-lasted shoes, the turn shoe and the internal stitch down, it's all one shot, right? You kind of got to put it
yeah.
together. You can't do that. So I usually do 6 to 9 ounce leather,
Oh.
depending on what it is.
Hmm.
The turn shoes are usually that 8, 9 ounce bull hide or
Wow.
buffalo sometimes.
Uh-huh.
And you make them a little small,
Uh-huh.
because since there isn't a last, like I tell people that they're not done until you wear them, and that's true
Right. It
because
stretches.
your foot's taking the job of the last and stretching the leather. And
Right.
yeah, so with the non-lasted, you have to go a little thicker. With lasted,
Mhm.
you can use almost anything
Yeah.
depending on.
Yeah. I was wondering. Yeah. But it's really cool. Like I see yeah, some other makers, like I'm just following Instagram, like shoemakers and, you know,
Yeah.
shoe hobbyists, and you see like the kind of like lineage a little bit, and you're like, I think like some people probably took your class or your, you
Yeah.
know, online course, and yeah, I
Yep.
like seeing that. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. I think
Yeah.
I've been teaching for 10 or 11 years now,
Yeah.
and I can count 5, maybe 6 people who are making a living, you know,
Doing.
doing some part of what they
Yeah.
learned here, and you know,
Yeah.
they went on and learned other things and then took it
Yeah.
and made it their own, and
Yeah.
that feels so good to like be
So
part of
good.
that, you know,
Yeah.
inspiring those folks. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That's fantastic. Oh, thank you so much. And I love the work you're doing. We'll keep, I guess, watching you on Instagram. So
Yeah,
keep on
sure.
posting on Instagram.
I sure will. Thanks. Yeah. It's been
Yeah,
fun.
stay safe and healthy, and yeah, say hi to your daughter.
All right.
All
I
right.
will. All right. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.